හරි ළමයි මේ කොතනද නැවතුනේ ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ මට තියෙන අත්දැකීම් ටික කියන්න බලන්න දැන් මේ waste reduction practices කියන ඕගොල්ලෝ මොනවද දැන් මේ වෙනකොට ඔයාලා බලලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් මාත් එක්ක share කරන්න. දැන් අනිත් එක තව හරියටම අද 19 කියන්නේ ළමයි හරියටම මාසෙයි තියෙන්නේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට මගේ assignment එක submit කරන්න. මට තාම කවුරුත් එහෙම මේ මගේ මොනවද ප්‍රශ්න අහලා මොනවත්වත් නැහැ වැඩි. උදිත් මොකද ඒකේ තියෙන අප්ඩේට්?
මේ අරග කරන්න ගමන් කට්ටිය ප්‍රොපෝසල් එක ඉවර කරන්න තියෙනවනේ 29 ප්‍රොපෝසල් එක සබ්මිෂන් ඒක ඉවර කරපු ගමන් අරග පටන්
ගන්නවා. හරි හරි. අවුල නැහැ. මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න. හැබැයි ඩේට් එක එක්ස්ටෙන්ඩ් කරන්න බෑ මොකද නැත්තම් මට කල් නැහැ නේ ඊට පස්සේ. ඒකත් මතක තියාගන්න. තව අපි ලෙක්චර්ස් එකෙන් මේ ලෙසන් මේ මොඩියුල් එක ඉවර කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි තව මොන හරි රිවිෂන්ස් හරි එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ තව මේ ක්වෙස්චන් පේපර් එක මොඩරේට් කළා මට ආවේ නැහැ. ඒකට ඒක ෆයිනලයිස් වුණාට පස්සේ අපිට ඩිස්කස් කරන්න පුළුවන් මොන වගේ ඒරියාස් මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ටෙස්ට් කරන්න කියලා. ඒක අනිත් එක ගැන බොරි වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ මම හැමදාම කියන කතාවක්. right. ඊළඟ එක තමයි identify sustainable channel partners for an organization considering the learned concept. What is a sustainability partner? What is a sustainability partner? This partnership involves two or more business teaming up with each other for mutual benefits relating to sustainability goals. Sometimes a corporate brand and a non-profit from the same industry will pair up, but otherwise entities from multiple sectors get together and pool their resources. මේ ළමයි තනිකරම මේ theory subject මොකද practically මේ මම මේ විෂය මගේ රස්සාවේදී මට එහෙම ලොකුවට අදාළ වෙලා නැහැ. ඒක නිසා තමයි මේ එතකොට මට ප්‍රායෝගිකව දෙන්න පුළුවන් උදාහරණ ප්‍රමාණය හරිම සීමිතයි. එහෙම තිබ්බනම් මම මේ නෝට් එක කියවන්නේ මම මේ නෝට් එක දාලා ඉවර වෙලා ඕගලන්ට මේ මොනවද මේ සම්බන්ධව මගේ තියෙන අත්දැකීම් ෂෙයා කරනවා. මම තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ. ඒක නිසා ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න මේ විෂය මේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ ඒකයි. ඔය ලංකාවේ කොහොමඩක්වත් මේක නෑ. ඔය දැන් මෙතනින් එහාට තියෙනවා මම හිතන ඊළඟ ටොපික් එක corporate sustainability. අන්න ඒක ගැන මට පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන් corporate කොහොමද CSR ගැන. ඒ ගැන මම දන්නවා. මොකද ඒක අපි කරලා තියෙන දේවල් ප්‍රායෝගිකව පුද්ගලිකව සහ ආයතන මට්ටමේ. මේ සමහර තීරීස් ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරුම් ගන්න මේක තමයි න්‍යාය. මේක තමයි මේ කියලා තියෙන දේ මේක පැහැදිලි කිරීම ඇරෙන්න මම මීට වැඩිය දෙයක් ප්‍රායෝගිකව මගේ රාජකාරී ජීවිතේ ලංකාවේ සහ පිටරටවල් වල කළා නැහැ. ඒක තමයි ඇත්ත. එතකොට මීට වැඩිය දෙයක් පැහැදිලි කරන්න එහෙමනම් ඉතින් පැහැදිලි කරන්න මම දන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙමනම් ISO manual එක වගේ එකක් අරගෙන කියවන්න. ඒක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බෝරින්. මේ පුළුවන් දේවල් තමයි ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මම පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ මගේ තියෙන අත්දැකීම්. හරි. ඊළඟ එක building sustainable partnership for innovation. මොකද ඒක යටතේ තියෙන්නේ put strategy first. Partnership must have a strong importance. Align partners' interests. A true partnership must be mutually beneficial in order to develop. Create a partnership vision. Take stake in each other's success. Live win-win. ඔටික තමයි තියෙන්නේ මොකද මේ ටොපික් තමයි course material එකේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ දකින්න ඇති course content එකේ cover කරන්න කියලා තියෙන මාතෘකා ටික. කිසිම මාතෘකාවක් අතාරින්න බෑනේ. ඉතින් ඒකට අදාළව පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් කරගෙන යන එක තමයි කරන්නේ. අපි අන්තිමටම මේ සම්බන්ධව මේක මේ තියෙන YouTube එකක් තියෙනවා. අපි ඒක බලමු. ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද මීට අමතරව කියන දේවල් කියලා තම තේරුම් ගන්න විශේෂ සම්බන්ධව. Right. Develop sustainable channel strategies for an organization. Be international about sustainability. Partner with employees. Water and electric conservation. Supply chain. Develop a recycling program. Chemical management. Purchase only energy efficient products. Develop sustainable work policies. Purchase only energy efficient products කියන එකේ මම හිතන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා මේ වෙනකොට දැන් ඔය low voltage ඒ වගේම මේ තියෙනවනේ එක එක මේ බල්බ්ස් වර්ග ඒක කැපැසිටි එක. ඊළඟ කාරණේ දැන් ගොඩක් දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම සමහර වාහන තියෙනවා මගේ කාර් එක ඇතුළේ. ඒකේ එනර්ජි සේවිං මෝඩ් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ට්‍රැෆික් එකක නැවතිලා තියෙනකොට කාර් එක එන්ජින් එක නවත්ත ගන්නවා. සමහරවල් මේ උපරිම විනාඩි 3ක් විතර කාලයක් නවත්ත ගන්නවා. ඊට වැඩි නවතින්නේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ මේ බ්‍රේක් එක රිලීස් කරනවත් එක්කලම ඔටෝමැටිකලි ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ අත්දැකීම ඇති. සමහර වෙලාවට මේ කාර් එක ස්ටාර්ට් වෙනවා. ඒකත් ඇවිල්ලා දැන් ඔය මේ සම්බන්ධව තියෙන ප්‍රායෝගික දෙයක්. මේ එනර්ජි එෆිෂියන්සි ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් ඒක සම්බන්ධව යන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් තියෙනවා කෙමිකල් මැනේජ්මන්ට්. දැන් ලංකාවේ තිබිච්ච ලොකුම ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ ඩයපොක්සරයක් කෙමිකල් ගෙන්නනවා කියලා ආණ්ඩුව කියනවා. දැන් ඒකත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නේ. කෙමිකල් මැනේජ්මන්ට් කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද්ද මේ කියලා තියෙන්නේ ඩෙවලොප් රීසයිකලින් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්. රීසයිකලින් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්. ඒවා සාමාන්‍ය මට්ටමින් කරනවා කියලා පේනවා. නමුත් මම දන්නේ නැහැ මහ ප්‍රමාණව වෙනවද කියලා. මොකද කොළඹ ගියාම ඕගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා ඇති ඔය කලින් සැරේ ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණානේ අර කුණුපන්දක් ගිනි අරගෙන මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ජීවිතවලට ඉඳලා හානි වෙලා. ඉතින් ඒවා හරියට රීසයිකලින් ප්‍රොසෙස් එකක් තියෙනවද කියලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා ලංකාවේ. water and electric conservation. දැන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් නම් අපි කියන්නේ අනවශ්‍ය විදිහට මොනවාද දැන් මම මේ ලෙක්චර් රූම් එකෙන් එළියට යනකොට මම කරන්නේ සියලුම ලයිට්ස් ඔක්කොම ඕෆ් කරලා ෆෑන් ඕෆ් කරලා තමයි යන්නේ. යන්නේ එක තමයි මේ සේව් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ පාර්ට්නර් with employees ඒ ඩයලොග් එක තියාගන්න කියලා තමයි මෙතන කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Right, next one. 5 key steps to a sustainable corporate strategy. Understanding sustainability and recognize what it means to the company. Engage with stakeholders, set goals and commitments. Establish system and processes. Track process, communicate action and meet expectations. ඒ පහ තමයි 5 key steps to a sustainable corporate strategy කියන එකේ අදහස. අපි එහෙමනම් sustainable lifestyle series how to live smart කියන එකේ මම තෝරාගත්ත මෙන්න මේ YouTube එක අපි මේක බලමු.
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot on their plates.
Dilmah Conservation and Dilmah Tea, in association with UNGC, which is a bunch of corporate that is committed for sustainability. We created this series because we believed in change of attitude and education. Climate education is the key to adapt best to this global crisis of the era. So over the past 18 months, through corporate dialogues, through a lot of technical sessions, small discussions with youth groups, we were trying to create climate education among different groups. Past 18 months, we have educated more than 2,000 individuals. But then we realized there's some little problem. Even after, when we ask about climate change, the immediate image that pops into your head is the melting of a glacier or a polar bear. So, but it's different whenever you think of birds like ontology or something like that, you can easily connect with Sri Lanka and it's easily gets localized. So then the idea of launching something called sustainable lifestyle is because lifestyle is something that every one of us can relate to. We connect with it. So to curate this series, this is a new dimension. Let's break off from the technicality and make adaptation to climate change possible. Let's just tone down the topic and address the cause of it and the root of it. So to curate the series, we discussed with Sunela Jabadana. Let me tell you why she is the best person to curate a series like this for the coming 6 to 12 months, hopefully. She has agreed to do that for 6 months, but we'll hope that it will go forever and forever. CEO is supposed to introduce her, so not to make any mistake, let me read it out. Sorry. Recognized as Sri Lanka's leading environmental architect by India Today and Times consecutively in 2007 and 2008, Sunela Javardhana's award-winning projects include Jetwin Villuna, Colombo Court, Rainforest Eco Lodge, Havelock Bungalow, and Jetwin Kadurukata, in addition to over 75 private homes. She consults on environmental design and sustainable development for several international clients and the governments of Sri Lanka, with environmental innovation being a central feature of her work. She has been selected as a Women of Achievement by Zonta International 2014 and is one of the 50 most powerful women in Sri Lanka. She has also awarded for outstanding contribution as a woman of Sri Lanka by Equal Ground 2007. She's a founding trustee and was the first chairperson of the Federation of Environmental Organizations of Sri Lanka and a founding trustee of the Citizens Initiative Trust Fund, which worked in conflict zones in post-war Sri Lanka. She's also the author of the by Equal Ground 2007. She's a founding trustee and was the first chairperson of the Federation of Environmental Organizations of Sri Lanka and a founding trustee of the Citizens Initiative Trust Fund, which worked in conflict zones in post-war Sri Lanka. She's also the author of the Lines of Sri Lanka, Myths and Memories of an Island, a historical travelogue that explores Sri Lanka's more obscure legends and myths, which I'm a huge fan of that book. So without further delay, let me invite her to take over the series and to induce some change in lifestyles. Sunela.
Good evening, everybody. I have to first thank the Dilmah Conservation team and Dilhan in advance for inviting me to speak today, introduce this series, and to curate 6 months. I didn't know about the 12 months, that's news to me. So what I'm really interested here is curating something for the next 6 months that you can take home, something for you, changes that you can make to your everyday life. That's the ultimate aim. My job today is to convince you why. So, to start off, I know I'm talking to a very smart and conscientious audience this evening, but if there are any Trumpsters or CEB engineers who are devoted to coal, or anyone else who has to be pulled out of the dark ages, I think Dilmah has organized an extra special bitter brew for you outside. But yeah, so I think that's where we are at, because there are so many people who don't believe in this. And I think I have to warn you, this is not a feel-good lecture. I feel very uncomfortable about where we are heading, so I think I want to share that sense of discomfort with you. I want you to feel uneasy that the way we are living is really not the way we should be going, that we are actually on a really bad road. And actually, I have only 2 points to make. But to do that, I have to impress upon you the urgency of today. And I have notes here. I have notes here because this is a subject, as I said, that really bothers me, so I tend to run away with it. So I keep notes to make sure I stay within the subject, that I don't, chatter too much on this. Anyway, I'm sure some of you are already wondering why this kid, Greta Thunberg, is suddenly a heroine for skipping school. I mean, I skipped school, no one made me a heroine, but the reason she's doing it is because of what leaders of my generation are doing to the environment. And, damn right, we should be joining her. We should be joining her climate strike because something needs to happen, something needs to change. And why should it change? It's because, basically, the world we are getting flooded, there are fires, we are suffocating, and this is just the winter of this year, just this winter, right? This is really, a problem that we are facing today. It is climate change. It's not just climate change, it's climate change in overdrive. It's out of control, and climates change. They change every week, they change every season, they change every year. And as long as this Earth is spinning with that little tilt, seasons will change. But I think that's not where we are at. But really it should be a case of, we are in control. We are the super species. So why are we, why is this happening? What is, we've conquered the planet, right? This is the Anthropocene. This is the time when we, the super species, are in control of climate and the ecology of the world. And for this is where we've taken the world, we've got our names and thrown it. And to get there, what we have done is dug holes. This is a gold mine. We need that much gold, believe me, right? We've stopped rivers, we've dried up springs, we've dried up lakes. You can see, for 6 years, this river didn't flow to the mouth. So you can imagine the impact on the rest of the ecology when that happens. We've cut forests for soybean, because we need that much soybean. And we have cattle farms. It's endless. So guys, this is what unsustainable looks like. This is it. This is where we are. This is our culture today. And it's really a typical case of us getting too smart. We have, because of our greed, we have engineered the air, the water, the soil. Because we need more hamburgers, we need more guns, we need more knives, we need more power. And actually, it's probably way more than we need. And if we actually look at, how greedy we are, I think a very good example is the 5G signal, which is just being launched all over the world. Now, if you look at that, can anyone in this audience tell me what the advantages of the 5G is? Anyone? Much faster than 4G. So, right. So for this speed, possibly for the quicker transfer of increased bandwidth allows you to transfer bigger packages of data and all that. The recent testing in the past 2 weeks, they have found that there are birds falling out of the sky. In the Netherlands last week, they found that hundreds of starlings had died just under the signal where they were testing it. And even more frightening is I think somewhere in the States, they found bees dead under the 5G signals. Now, it's the radiation. It's the radiation. Forget us, we want it, right? But when the bees die, we die. There is a quote attributed to Einstein, actually, which says that 4 years after the bees go, humans will go, right? So we want 5G for what, 4 years? Okay, I'm going to just park that thought with you. When you are getting your 5G signal, please do think about it. Do you need that level of speed, right? And I think it's time that we can get up and say, listen, we don't need it. We are fine. We can do our transfers in 2 sections instead of this one super speed. Really is not going to make that much of a difference. We can say that to ourselves. We can make that difference. Yes. So I'll come back to you at the end of the talk, and we can certainly discuss that. Yes, the pollination. Pollination is what bees do. They pollinate all the foliage in the world better than us. Let's say they pollinate even a quarter. That's going to be a quarter of the world starving. Right? So, despite all that, right, all that we have achieved, this is what we are down to. This is what we have not, technology has not given us, right? We can't survive without this, right? And I think what we must realize is that we are on a really dangerous path. This is where we are heading. This is pretty frightening, right? So yes, the 5G, the extra gold, the copper from the Grasberg mine, more beef, so that there's no worry that none of the restaurants run out of beef, right? So that's actually where we are heading, and we are heading there fast. I think we have reached tipping point, and I hope you realize you've reached, this is where we are at tipping point. And I would say one of my oldest gurus has this to say. He says we have already tipped over. And he also predicts riots, mass migrations, basically chaos. The world not as we know it, or not as we would like to imagine it. And as I said, I have 2 points to make. So one is this climate emergency is really a human predicament. 2, it is us, we humans, we have to change. We have to make that change. And why do I say this is a human predicament? We are dying under our garbage. We are paying for oxygen. Here is a guy who's kicked through 375 miles of trash. This is between Hawaii and California. This is what we are doing. And what I have for you is a few questions. 4 questions, which I'm not going to ask you to answer now. I'm going to ask you to, if you need, even write it down, but think about it. Think about the answers, because as I said, I want you to feel very uncomfortable about what we are doing every day. So my questions are these. Are all other species inferior to us because they can't adapt to our polluted habitats? Or is it us who have kept adapting on the wrong development trajectory? These species can only live in pristine habitats. Question 2. Are the traditional cities, the advanced human habitats, the way forward for us and all other species? I'm not asking you for answers now, just think about it. And is it, okay. Question 3, we have taken pristine habitats and messed them up so bad that we can't go back to them. But there are other species colonizing them. So as we abandon them, they're reclaiming them. So with our land use practices, are we running ourselves out of this planet? This is amazing. There are, in Chernobyl, there are black bear, there are fox, the bird life is fabulous, but humans can't go back to live. No one understands what it is, but the animals don't seem to be suffering from the radiation that's affecting humans. And are we conditioned to aspire for the wrong things? Are we? Is this the ultimate? New York City penthouse, right? So we are driving thousands of species to extinction with our greed and with our bungling and all that. And along with this, I fear we are taking ourselves down, because this is what we are doing to ourselves. And then we have these other little toys, our advanced technology. So, familiar? So this brings me to point 2. We have to change. We have to change our ways. And, we have to change our ways. We have to rethink our culture. These are our bandit ways of killing and stealing excessively from this planet, way more than we need, as I've been repeating. And we have to learn to live in harmony, because we have to live in harmony with other species, because that is a part of our ecosystem. We don't realize how interdependent we are, that we have to cohabit. And there are eco-services that only interdependency can provide. So I think it's all about reclaiming communities and accepting that we are a part of this community, that we are not a species alone, that we are not separate from the rest of the earth, and everything that we do to destroy it, when some little thing irritates us, kill it. No, maybe that's serving some purpose that you and I can't, that's not immediately evident. But I think there are ways of living with these irritants, as we call them, and it can be done. This is in Yellowstone. The ranchers had shot out all the wolves because they killed their cattle. They're a nuisance. So the easiest thing was to shoot them out of the whole area. And then the scientists who argued for this, and in 1997 they reintroduced wolves. Now some of you know this fabulous story. But what they found is that when the wolves came back, they started hunting the elk, which had been, this is a story in a nutshell. They started hunting the elk. The elk had been eating all the foliage because there were no predators. When the wolves started hunting the elk, the foliage started growing back. All the small creatures, in addition to all the small creatures, you had beavers cutting down the trees again, building dams, flooding the area, and who benefited? The farmers downstream. Because it stopped the erosion, it increased the flow of the rivers. So the farms that were drying up, when the wolves came back, they were the biggest beneficiaries. And it does pay. This is a project which I did for Jetwing in 2002. This was heavily distressed agricultural land. The soil was shockingly distressed. And what we did was build a wetland using traditional irrigation systems, planted indigenous species, because that's the one way to go forward, the quickest way to go forward, indigenous species of trees. And we converted it into a wetland. And now, how many years later, 16 years later, 17 years later, it's reached sanctuary status. I'm proud to say it's one of the few places you can see highly endangered species like loris and otter. And more than that, it really pays, because those rooms are almost $1,000 a night. And they're full most of the year. So it does pay to rewild and reclaim land for, or regreen the land. And let's see where we're at. And I think we have to each of us has to do our own little bit and revive those interdependent communities, even if it's, you start off with your friends. People who have the same values that you do, but you build those communities. And whatever you do, you do it sustainably. Because if a bee can do it, can't we, the super species, do it? This is what sustainable looks like. And what I'd really like to leave you with is the power of one, because you have to do something yourself. But whether it's, you going and colonizing your rooftop and growing edible plants on it, whether it's changing the light bulbs in your house to energy-saving bulbs, whether it's buying that butter packet with the foil wrapping instead of the plastic box, start doing something different. I don't know whether it's too late. A lot of people with a lot more knowledge than I have say it's too late. But we can't give up. We have to try and stall this process. And I'm counting on all of you. I would, as I said, I'm sorry this is not a feel-good lecture, and but I want to leave you with some hope. So I would like you to come on board and follow this series that we have curated for the next 6 months, because it will give you tools that will help you every day. And I'm really thrilled to introduce this series. We have a fabulous lineup of inspirational speakers. From January, where we have Channa Ekanayaka, urban forester. We have Mila Rajendran, who's not here with us. He's a precision agriculture engineer who will install drip irrigation in your balcony, which you can manage off your phone if you have no time to look after your garden. And we have Somapala Herath, who's a traditional farmer who manages his farms using very old traditional methods. So, and then we have a workshop to follow that. We have Savera Veerasinghe, who's a waste specialist, and she'll do an interactive program with the audience where you can come on and talk with her and with the audience in terms of how you need to really be a responsible consumer. It's about that butter packet I told you. And then we have Achini and Tashara, who call themselves the zero waste couple, who, I don't know whether they're here. They're here. Hello. And then in May, we have Anika Fernando, who has this fabulous shop called PR, which is devoted to ethical fashion, and Sarindu Nambua, who's from MAS, again, devoted to bringing that mass market into ethical production. They will have a chat from two ends of the fashion field. And in July, I will work with the audience on how to make your home eco-friendly. But we have 1 month in June, which we thought we would leave it to you to tell us what you need. Can we have someone up here? So what I'm going to ask you to do is, looking at the 5 offerings we have, do you have any requests? What do you need? What do you need for the 6th session? Any suggestions? And we'll try and find the resource person to help you with that. Are we missing something? Can they see that they need to see what we have, no? Yeah, okay. If they can see this first column, that's good enough. Yes. Yeah, I was going to bring that into my talk, but we can do that. Please, yeah, let's put energy up there so we can do maybe a special different. Transport energy. Transport. Let's just put transport, yeah. So I think we'll I think we'll handle that with responsible consumerism, which is in February. So have the smartest grocery cart would be how you go and purchase. So you maybe build up this, so that will work into that. And Savera will work with the audience on their problems. Anything else? You think we can do that at, this is not at a national level. We are talking about you and me. But if you want that, population control. So I'll take one more. So we look at energy overall. Yeah.
Technology, our consumption of whether it's media, your mention of 5G, how does that affect, what is the impact of that on climate change and how?
So shall we talk of how
Reconcile climate change and technology?
technology use?
තමයි ඔයගලන්ට මම ලින්ක් එක දීලා තියෙනවානේ. ඉතුරු ටික බලන්න. මේකේ මේ මීට වැඩි දෙයක් පැහැදිලි කරන්න නැහැ මේ ටොපික් එකේ. අපි ඊළඟ ටොපික් එකේදී ඒකේ තියෙනවා Maslow's theory of need ගැන. ගොඩක් මාකටිං පැත්ත ගැන ඩිස්කස් කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඒක මම ඉන්ටරෙස්ටිංම ටොපික් එකක්. අපි ලබන සුමානේ මේ ඊළඟ ලෙක්චර් එකේදී ඒ ගැන කතා කරමු. මොනවායි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඕන වෙලාවක මට කෝල් කරන්න. මේ කෝල් කරලා විෂය සම්බන්ධව හෝ එහෙම නැත්නම් දැන් ඩෙසිරේෂන්ස් වලට අදාළ කට්ටිය සම්බන්ධව හෝ එහෙම නැත්නම් අසයින්මන්ට් සම්බන්ධව හෝ මොනවායි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් මට කෝල් කරලා මගෙන් අහන්න. right, okay, we'll meet you in next week.